Right lads, and today we are revisiting two videos I made back in 2022 on future League of Ireland stadiums. Why exactly? Well, pretty much to see which of these have actually been built, which of them are in progress, and which of them are still sitting in development hell, essentially. Yeah, spoiler alert, it's a lot of the latter. The fourth stand in Tallaght is of course the main one of note, seeing as they're already about halfway through constructing it. The new 2,000 seater stand is set to include a new club shop and offices at a cost of 11.7 million euro. What the fuck are they spending it on? Yeah, this thing was finished in early 2024, so it's been a good while now. It houses the club shops, and overall, yeah, it kind of just completes Tallaght. By completes, that doesn't change the fact that the stadium is still a soulless bowl. And this stand's also a bit of a death trap if you've ever stood in it. It's quite steep. Next up is Dalymount Park. Now, of course, earlier this year it was confirmed that plans for a new 6,000 seater shared stadium between Bows and Shells had been scrapped, and thus plans have been put in motion to improve Dalymount Park by improving the Jody stand, building a new 4,000 to 5,000 seater stand across from it, which quite ambitious. A covered terrace where the away end now sits with a capacity of 2,000, and a small terrace on the far side with a capacity of 250 to 300, alongside a host of other improvements, and is set to be done by early 2026, which is bound to be delayed because this is Ireland. Well, it is now of course 2026, and yeah, this still hasn't been built yet. Now obviously yes, the plans are actually out there. They've already started demolishing Dalymount Park. And yeah, this has been confirmed to be Bow's last year in Dalymount Park. So yes, over 3 years have passed and nothing has really changed, but it does actually seem like there is going to be progress. Or is there? I don't really know, to be honest. And looking at the plans from back then, they kind of have changed a bit as well. I think apparently the original plan was to keep the Jody stand. That seems to have just been completely thrown out the window. The capacity's also kind of gone up and down. Yeah, like 8,000 is the proposed new capacity. Whether or not they actually stick to that, God knows. But yeah, one that has not really gotten off the ground much. We have the redevelopment of Finn Park. Now, construction of Finn Harp's new stadium, the Donegal Community Stadium, had begun back in 2008. However, as many of you will know, that was the year the economy decided to nosedive faster than Dele Alli's football career, so the stadium was left partially complete and abandoned. Now recently 4.5 million was granted for the project, a 6,100 capacity stadium with 2 seated stands running alongside the pitch and terraces behind each goal. Yeah, this one is pretty much barely changed since I recorded that video. I mean, I suppose there is official things in writing. The stadium was actually, you know, greenlit for planning permission once again, and Finn Harps do seem to have funding 7.3 million so far from what I've read. How far that money will actually go, God knows, because these things tend to go over budget quite quickly. It does also appear the original drawings have changed if you look at the stands behind each goal. By the looks of it now, they are covered and possibly seated as well, but these are just drawings. Do not expect the stadium to look like this when it does eventually get finished. They never do. 5,580 is set to be the official capacity of the ground, and it does also look like they're going to be building it in stages, so they'll be able to operate half the stadium for a season as well while the rest of it gets built. But yeah, besides that, in 3.5 years, nothing concrete bar some more words on a page. Sligo and the Showgrounds, a very ambitious project to say the least. Now, the Showgrounds itself is a pretty decent ground already. Not the biggest, but then again, Sligo, it's not exactly a big place, is it? But the plan is to, of course, build upon the already existing ground, fixing up the Tracy Avenue stand, the main one, the railway stand, while also building a new stand behind the far goal, and at the third a new stand and replace it at Jinx Avenue stand, which if you don't know is the away fan stand and also where Forza Rovers usually are. This would be on top of other minor improvements, bringing the ground up to UEFA Category 3 standard, as well as construction of new academy grounds alongside the existing stadium. The Showgrounds, another one that's also stalled a good bit. This is a bit depressing actually reading all these, to be honest. I thought there was a lot more being done to this. But Sligo Rovers are still confident that the Showgrounds will be redeveloped for the club's anniversary in 2028, the 100th year anniversary. And compared to Harps, it does seem as if the plans are a lot more substantial. They have a massive document here. If anybody wants to read it, I'm not going to read through all of it and bore you all. But essentially, yes, it is going to be a 6,000 all-seater ground. As previously mentioned, they're going to be building 2 new stands and redeveloping the other 2. Then there's also fun things like fan zones, not so fun things like media areas. As I said, the full document is there if you want to read it, but yeah, once again, nothing really concrete bar a few words on a page. Next up, Tolka Park. Now, as I mentioned last time, the idea for a shared stadium between Bows and Shells was thrown out the window about a year ago, and Shells were able to win their appeal and keep Tolka Park. Now none of this changes the fact that Tolka Park itself is still in a very dire shape, but there have been proposals, the most recent and substantial of which I can find is by the Save Tolka Park Brigade, which proposes fixing up the main stand and Riverside stand with new seats and roofs, construction of a new stand in the place of the Ballybow end for away fans, and demolition of the Drumcondra stand, which itself is a fairly new stand, but unfortunately it was built to Irish standards, making it not safe, which will be replaced by a brand new 3-storey building that will house changing rooms, corporate boxes, offices, pretty much anything you need to run a football club. Again, this one is outdated and has also not been approved, so take this one with a grain of salt. This is the best I could find. Funnily enough, this is actually one of the more developed ones, even if it is nothing like the plans I originally talked about. Yeah, the whole Save Tolka Park thing, plans just don't seem to have come to fruition at all. They were never really official plans anyway. They were kind of just something I found and wanted to talk about because they had been proposed. But I suppose there is a few small things. Shells do, of course, now own Tolka Park. Just there, and I believe in November, they received a 250-year lease for the ground, which of course is a good thing for them in terms of security for the future. There has been some minor improvements to the ground as well. I know they've expanded the capacity of the Riverside stand. The main stand was also tidied up a bit, and they've also put a fan zone in as well in conjunction with the whole, Rockshore deal with the League of Ireland. If any of you didn't know, Rockshore are the official beer sponsor of the League of Ireland. I am not being paid to say that, even though it sounds like I am. But yeah, pretty much nothing to the scale of the plans I originally brought up. Now, there was murmurs of the Drumcondra stand being, redone up and fit for purpose again in 2026. If you don't know, the Drumcondra stand sat behind the goal. It was only used for about 20 years till they realised they had a load of cowboys who built the thing, and it was no longer considered safe. Yeah, just typical Celtic Tiger, construction. Finally for today, we have Richmond Park. Now, of course, back in 2018, plans were proposed for Richmond Arena, a 12,000-seater stadium that would serve as the heart of Inchicore. It was basically going to be a mini city centre with shops and everything, and easily would have been the best stadium in the league had it been built. But instead, unfortunately, Dublin City Council has decided, let's build a lot of fucking houses on it. Which is ironic because it's now 2023 and nothing has been done with these plans. Well done, Fine Gael. But here's the thing, Richmond Park is already a pretty decent ground, contrary to those of you in the comments who call it a kip. So realistically, it doesn't actually need that much in terms of redevelopment. Now bear in mind, all of this I'm about to say is just speculation coming from a Pats fan, but from chats I've had with people, likely redevelopments could be turning the patron stand into an actual proper stand, fixing up the main stand and Mac Terrace a little, and more than likely a complete renovation of the shed end. Yeah, Richmond, genuinely nothing, which is actually strange. Now, Dublin City Council have kept buying buildings in and around Richmond Park over the past few years, but there is nothing official from either them or the club that has really been said, bar just reiterating the fact that there are plans to redevelop the ground at some point. Now, through the grapevine, there was rumours to pretty much demolish the entire ground and flip the pitch and rebuild the ground to a 6,000 to 8,000 capacity, but I've no evidence of this, so whether you choose to believe that or not. But yeah, in this video, what have we learned exactly? Things take a long time in this country. They're genuinely a joke. And realistically, plans often remain just that, plans. Of course, do feel free to comment below your thoughts on all of this. Also, if you'd like me to do another video on, I suppose, future National League stadiums, of which there are going to be 20, so there is plenty to talk about, I might also consider doing that. But, comment if you want me to do that. Otherwise, I'll just kind of leave it there and just do my own thing. But yeah, it is 12:15 on a Sunday, so I'm now going to bed.